Good morning and welcome to Hashtag Rise and Grind. I am your host, Glenn Lundy. I am a husband to one, a father to six, and the general manager of Dan Cummins Chevrolet Buick in Paris, Kentucky, the second largest used car franchise dealer in the United States of America. It is 5:30 a.m. and I hope that you are ready to rise and grind.
What's up, guys? Good morning. Welcome to the Rise and Grind. Today is Wednesday. I believe it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday, right? Yes, today is Wednesday. Let me look at my board. February 21st. I always got to take a look because these days, they just run together, man. They just run together when you're rising and grinding. It just keeps going. So what's up, everybody? Wednesday, February 21st. Good morning, my man. First one in here, Chuck Miller. That's what I'm talking about. Good morning, Chuck. Chuck has been killing it. Those of you guys know the story. My good friend Chuck Miller moved from Kansas City to be a part of the Dan Cummins team. He's been doing a great job. Good morning, Chuck. Good morning, David. Good morning, John Miller and Beth Workman. Beth Workman posted some awesome pictures with her Rise and Grind bracelets yesterday, and so did Patrick. I see Patrick in here. Good morning, Patrick. What's up? Martha Black. I have not seen Martha Black in here before, I don't think. But Martha Black, I'm glad you're here. Good morning, good morning. What's up, Chris Brooks, Shane Lockhart, Aaron Barnett, Robbie Toomey, of course, Kerry Osborne, of course, Aaron Jones, John Hinkson, Eric Mitchell, all my old faithfuls and old reliables. Good morning. And Anthony Algona. What's up, Anthony? Man, you had some posts yesterday that was super cool. I really appreciate everything that you're doing in this industry. So good morning, guys. Good morning. It is Wednesday, of course, February 21st, and I have a couple of announcements for you guys, and then we're going to go into, I'd like to finish what we started a little bit yesterday. Okay, yesterday we talked about the definition of rise and the definition of grind. We also told an awesome story about one of my dudes. One of the dudes at my dealership that started off in detail just a few years ago. He started off in detail, and he was able to rise and grind. He was able to get to that next level by simply grinding every single day, and is now one of our top finance guys. So before we get into the story that I wanted to share yesterday, but I ran out of time, before we get into that and start to tackle that a little bit more, I do need to let you guys know a couple of things. We are going to be attending the 10X Growth Conference with Grant Cardone. By we, I mean me and Josh Cummins and some other people at the dealership. We are going to be attending the Growth Conference. Now, I went to this 10X Growth Conference last year in March, and I will tell you, it was the most powerful, impactful conference that I've ever been to, ever. It was just incredible. I got to meet Tim Grover, and I got to meet, Grant Cardone himself, and I just got to spend time around these amazing people, these incredible, huge-minded individuals. I got to network with them, and it was just, I can't even explain how this conference went. So I am going to be at this conference. So tomorrow morning and Friday morning, I'm going to be in Las Vegas. So since I'm in Las Vegas, I can't do Rise and Grind live at 5:30 Eastern time, because that would be 2:30 in the morning in Las Vegas. So I hope you understand. Now, I will go live from Las Vegas, 5:30 Vegas time, which will be 8:30 Eastern time, both days, Thursday and Friday. And actually, I'm going to have a special guest. Josh Cummins is going to join us on the show, I believe, Thursday and Friday. Josh Cummins is going to join us, so make sure you tune in for that a little bit later. But I just won't have the 5:30 a.m. Now, my good friend Darian Sanders, him and I have talked. You guys know Darian Sanders from some of my videos. He's the dude with the awesome voice. Him and I have talked, and there is discussions that he may jump on and guest host the Rise and Grind at 5:30 a.m. tomorrow and 5:30 a.m. Friday, because he called me and said, hey, there's a whole group of people out there that are expecting you to wake them up at 5:30 in the morning. And just because you decided to go across the country doesn't mean that they should suffer. That's basically what he told me. So he may jump on here live for you guys. You might get a little different voice tomorrow morning. I also need to let you guys know that during the conference, for the 10X GrowthCon conference. During this conference, that was life-changing for me. If you go to GlennLundy.com, all of our Rise and Grind gear from today through the end of the conference, all of the Rise and Grind gear is 20% off. Just use the coupon code CARDONE. Okay, coupon code CARDONE, 20% off from now through Sunday while I'm at the 10X Growth Conference at GlennLundy.com. So if you've been holding off on getting your Rise and Grind gear, today is the day. Now, let's get into it. Yesterday, we had to explain the definition of rise, okay? Because we had all these discussions and people wanted to know, do I have to go to bed at a certain time? Do I have to wake up at a certain time? Do I have to sleep 4 hours a night? What is it that truly defines the rise and grind? And so here, we're going to break it down again. To rise means to move from a lower position to a higher one. To get up from lying, sitting, or kneeling. Now, to grind, we had to define that yesterday. To grind is to reduce something to small particles or powder by crushing it. And then, of course, we have the urban definition, which is when an individual pushes his or herself to attain a goal. So when you put them together, we are rising, we are moving from a lower position to a higher position. It takes action. You notice in the definition itself, it says, get up from lying, sitting, or kneeling. It takes action. You cannot rise by sitting still. You cannot rise by doing nothing. You have to get up from lying, sitting, or kneeling in order to rise. And then, of course, grind. I keep hitting the wrong button here. When we grind, we're going to reduce something to small particles or powder. We are going to crush it. And when you apply that to your goals, when an individual pushes his or herself to attain a goal, then you guys get it. We're going to rise. We're going to lift up. We're going to take action. We're going to go out there and we're going to crush the goal. That's what defines a rise and grinder. And that's what defined our good friend Evan Walters, our detailer that went from detail at 19 years old to working at a gun shop at 20 years old to selling cars at 21 years old to becoming a finance manager at 22 years old and to becoming now one of the top finance managers in the state at 23 years old because he chose to rise and grind. What kind of decisions are you making? Have you made the decision yet? Have you decided that you need to rise up? You need to get to that next level, that what you're doing, you're just kind of lying there, and it's time to move? Well, let me tell you, I got some people in my circle. I have a couple in my circle that made a decision to rise and grind, and I just have to tell you their story because it's incredible. It's impactful. It's phenomenal. So this couple, I met this couple 13 years ago. Is that right? Golly, I'm getting old. I met this couple 11, 12, 13 years ago, somewhere right in there. You guys see, when I first moved to Kentucky, I was trying to find my way. And I was a big fan of poker. I was a big poker player. And I used to play poker for a living, and I thought gambling was the key to success. I thought I was going to be able to gamble my way to the top. And so back then, I had finally realized, wait a minute, I got a little problem here. Gambling's a little bit too risky. Sometimes I win and sometimes I lose. And when I lose, it's tough. And when I win, it's great. But I got to find a way to make it a little more consistent. So I took this love that I had for this game called poker, and I took this love that I had for bringing people together of all nationalities, of all creeds, of all walks of life, of all ages, kind of like this group right here. And I decided I was going to put together a free poker league where people could play poker for free at bars and restaurants all over central Kentucky, and the bar owners would pay me to bring them in because obviously they would eat and drink and be merry. So I created this league, and in that league, I met some incredible, wonderful people. It was an incredible experience. I developed one of the biggest free poker leagues in the nation. But during that time, I met a couple. That was amazing. They stood out. They literally stood out because the dude's like 6'11" and the wife's like 5'11", so they stood out, if you know what I'm saying. They stood tall. But I loved these two people, and I thought they were just an amazing couple. They were made for each other. They were absolutely perfect, both just kind human beings and awesome individuals. And so we got to know each other, and we got to be friends. They became friends of my family, and my family was friends with their family. And as we became closer and started to get to know each other more, I started to realize that the husband, I'm just going to say their names, otherwise I'll mess this whole thing up, but I just got to understand that Isaiah was a visionary. Isaiah had big dreams. Isaiah, he wanted to create something for him and his family. And Amanda did too, but Isaiah was just kind of this driving force. And so as they progressed and our relationship progressed, Isaiah actually took over at a strip club. Yeah, let that sink in real quick. Okay, Isaiah, my married friend, married to the perfect woman, he was manager at a strip club. He managed a strip club in Lexington. And he was making great money. I'll be honest with you guys, man, he was making great money managing this strip club. And his wife, at one point, he was always gone all these nights, and so his wife wanted to be closer, and so she actually started working there at the strip club. She wasn't stripping. She never took her clothes off, but she worked there. She worked there with Isaiah, and they were making good money. And, of course, as is always going to be the case, when we chase that fast dollar, when what is always going to be the case, when we decide that we're going to put our morals aside, that we're going to put our integrity aside, when we make that decision, we choose to do things in the immediate for that fast buck, as is always the case, it began to corrupt them. It began to corrupt Isaiah, and they started to have some mishaps in their relationships, and the relationship started to break down. It wasn't so good. The environment they were in wasn't good. The people that they were choosing to spend some time with were not the greatest influences in the world, and the hours that they had to carrying on this job just wasn't beneficial to Arise and Grind. Okay, it just wasn't beneficial to their souls and to their spirits. And regretfully, and I watched it happen, and regretfully, their relationship started to fall apart. And I just thought, for sure, I couldn't believe it. I thought, oh my gosh, the most amazing, incredible couple I have ever met, a couple that is truly meant to be together, that were God designed for each other. This couple is going to get divorced. And I started to watch it unravel, and I was so scared and fearful for them at that point. Well, this is when Amanda made a decision. We talked yesterday about at some point you just have to make the choice. You have the choice to rise, to get to that next level. You have to choose to no longer just lie there or kneel or just sit there. And Amanda made a choice. She made a choice that she was going to fight for her marriage. She was going to fight for this relationship. And she told Isaiah, we got to go. We got to get out of this town. We got to move. We got to move down to Tennessee. We got to move down to the Nashville area. We got to get away from our family and our friends, and we've got to go do something else because we've got to make this work. We've got to make this decision. And so they moved. Isaiah followed her down there. She took the lead, and she thought she wanted to be a baker. She was baking cakes. She was really good at making cakes. She made these beautiful cakes. And so they went down, and they started to chase this dream that she was going to be a cake baker, and they were going to have her own shop. And she got a job working for this lady, and she started making cakes, and she was posting all the cakes, and she was doing good, and she was selling cakes, and their relationship started to get stronger, and it started to get better. But they still weren't getting there. They still were struggling with their past. They still were dealing with financial burdens they had put themselves in. They were still dealing with a lot, but at least they started to work on their relationship. They started to rise their relationship to the next level. They started to work on the spiritual side of themselves. They started to work on their integrity and their morals. They started to make this decision that they no longer were just going to lie there. They were actually going to rise and grind. Now, I tell you this story, and you're going to be surprised. You're thinking, okay, the cake baking thing took off, and it must have been great. Otherwise, Glenn wouldn't be telling this story. And in actuality, no. That wasn't the case. She was doing okay with the cakes, but it wasn't enough. Amanda wanted to dig deeper, and so she decided, I have got to get an education. I have to learn something new. I have to take advantage of this market and this industry. So she started to study real estate. She started to learn some stuff about real estate, and I just remember talking to Isaiah. Isaiah was popping around on odd jobs and kind of doing different things, and he was rising, and he was grinding, and he was trying to encourage, and he was trying to motivate. But what I was really watching was Amanda was moving in the background, boy. She was moving in the background. She was making moves. I started to notice that she was reading power books. She was starting to read some power books. She was posting up the Seller Be Solds, and she was posting up the How to Win Friends and Influence People. She was making moves, starting to educate the mind. She was starting to get up early. She was starting to rise and grind. She started working towards her real estate license, and once she got it, she was going door to door, folks. She was going door to door, folks. She was knocking on the door, and when the people were answering the door, she was saying, hey, I just need you to know that I am on a mission. I am on a mission today. I'm going to do this. I am going to change the future for my family. I am going to create an environment for my family. I am going to create a legacy for my family. I am choosing to rise and grind. And guess what, folks? Rise she did. Not only did Amanda sell 37 houses last year. 37 houses in the Murfreesboro, Tennessee area last year. But not only did she do that, but she got Isaiah. She got her husband, my visionary, my dreamer, my very good friend. She got her husband to go get his license. Now they got a partnership. Now they've got a partnership, and not only did they sell the 37 houses last year and list a ton of houses last year, now they're starting to make some investments. They're starting to buy some different properties. They're starting to make some moves. They've elevated their game. They're in a beautiful home. They've got some land. Their kids are growing up in an environment where their parents get along, where there's morals, where there's integrity, where there's value. They're starting to stand up. They're starting to stand up for what's right, for the Mills family. They're rising and grinding. They'll be in here in this group in about an hour. They're an hour behind us because they're in Murfreesboro. But here's the thing, guys. Here's what I need you to know. Here's what I understand. This is why I get so passionate about what we do here with the Rise and Grind. You guys have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to yourself, and you have to understand that what we're doing here, rising and grinding, it's not about what time you go to bed. It's not about what time you go to bed, and it's not about what time you wake up. Now, I said this before. If you've already got everything that you need, if you have the success, you have the money, your family life is great, if you have everything you need and everything is perfect, then don't even watch the show. You don't even have to watch the show anymore. You got it. You're good. But if you're like me, and you want to rise, there's still another level that you want to rise to. If you're like me, then we got to get up before the sun gets up. We got to get up before the sun gets up, and we have to make sure that we find this time for ourselves so that we can make these choices, so that we can make these decisions, so that we can move our lives to a different place by simply grinding every single day with integrity, with our morals intact, grinding on who we are as self, grinding as who we are in the physical, who we are in the mental, and who we are in the spiritual. Rise and grind, people. Rise and grind. It is your responsibility. It is your duty and your obligation to yourself, to your wife, to your kids, to the Almighty God that made you. It is your responsibility to be the best you that you can be. And it all starts with the choice. Choose to rise and grind. Listen, guys, it's weird for me. It's going to be weird for me throwing things a little off schedule the next couple days. I hope that you guys understand because I have to go get a little boost, man. I got to go get a little shot in the arm myself. I got to go get a little education from some of the greatest business-minded entrepreneurs, whatever you want to call them, but some of the greatest people on this planet. So I'm excited to go spend some time with them so that I can take the knowledge, take the things that I learned, and I can bring it back to you guys. I can bring it back to you. I can bring it back to Francisco and to Jeff and to Sean, because you guys are incredible, man. You guys are amazing, truly amazing individuals that are uniquely created by God to be the best you that you can be. What you guys are doing out there in the world today is phenomenal. Your positivity is contagious. It affects everyone around you, your friends, your family members, your coworkers. So know that I care about you, and know that I, for one, I love you. I love you. I love all you guys. Something is going on here. Are you guys still there? It's not showing anything in the comments feeds. Uh-oh. The live cut off at 7. Weird. All right, not sure what happened there. All right. Looks like you guys are still there. Okay, sorry about that. Hey, I'm on my way out. I'm not going to the gym today. I normally say I'm out of here. I'm about to head to the gym. But I'm not heading to the gym today because I'm going to spend some time with my kids. I'm going to spend some time with my wife before I have to jump out of here and head out to Vegas for the 10X Growth Con. But seriously, love you guys. What's up, Ashley? Ashley's up early, rising and grinding. I'm going to swing by and see you a little bit later, Miss Ashley. But hey, I hope you guys have a phenomenal day. I will see you tomorrow. But again, just an update for those that came in late. Here's the update that you need. I will be live at 8:30 Eastern. Darian will likely be live at 5:30 Eastern, so you're going to get 2 episodes of Rise and Grind tomorrow and Friday since I'm going to be out of town. Also, during this conference that I'm headed to, okay, so today through Sunday, during this conference, if you go to GlennLundy.com, you can get your Rise and Grind gear 20% off. Just use the coupon code CARDONE, CARDONE, and then y'all can represent the Rise and Grind. All right, hey, I love you guys. I'm going to hop off of here. Have a great day, phenomenal day, spectacular day, amazing day, incredible day, over the top day. And just know that you are part of an elite group of people who choose to rise and grind. See ya. Maybe. Yo, what's up? All right, gotta go.